Finished my treatment, it was in August. I was about to finish my 9th cycle. In 3 days' time, my wife committed suicide. So my book is all that I went through in my life. The failures in our life to understand her, the failures from the society side to understand my wife, and how we lost my wife. So it's just a reflection. I'm just giving a message to the crowd that what I went through, when you read this book, I don't want this to happen to the society. So I'm saying in my book.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, this like two wars, दोन जुजा, एक जोइत एक हार. हांव दोन जुजा झुजलो, okay. एक हांव जिखलो, म्हजी घरकान हारली. So I have given two pictures over here. दोनांकूय कीड लागता झाडांक. एक झाडाची कीड खूद मरता, झाड जिवें उरता. दुसरें झाड मरता, पूण कीड जिवी उरता. So I have given all minor things which I faced, my struggle with my sickness, the love I got from my wife, and the word depression, which I was not aware. I read a lot about depression, but I never knew the depth of this word. I came to know only after the death of my wife. And the signs she gave lot of signs, but we failed to understand the signs. So what I'm saying in my book, I'm not telling readers to do anything.
If you could
but
share
I'm just
some
giving,
of those things that you say that she gave in those signs, if you could share with us some of those things.
She gave lot of signs like sleeplessness. She was complaining about palpitation of the heart. She used to hear voices, and she heard a voice and she left the house. But we were not aware of these signs. So when I consulted the experts in the medical fraternity, if they had to tell me the guidelines how to handle her, because as a layman, I just thought because of sleep she was doing all these things, but I never knew she was in depression, because she was talking to me, we were eating together, she was open to me, everything was going normal. But the depression, I was not aware. But the people who saw her, the expert who saw her, they had ample of evidence with her just to guide me how to take care of her. But there was failure from our side because we were not consulted by these experts to understand.
And the lack of awareness about what exactly a person having depression goes through, and you wish if you had known what to, how to take care of her, things would have been different.
Yeah. If I had just given a clue that just be careful that she is in depression, this one word was more than enough for me to understand a lot. Because even in my wildest dream, I cannot think that she was in depression.
Doctor, I would like to ask you, what is this depression?
See, depression is, I think what PO is trying to tell us is clinical depression, not depression in terms of a mood that we all go through. And we all feel depressed at times. But I think what PO is trying to say is, he's talking about a clinical disorder called major depressive disorder, where a lot of people in our society actually are suffering from. And some of the signs which you can recognize is when a person's mood changes, initially he's a very bubbly person, but then suddenly he begins to feel sad, he begins to get a bit irritated, he loses pleasure and interest in life, or pleasure sometimes not really in life but just in your daily activities, like you'd love to cook before and now you don't want to cook. You'd go to work every day and now you just don't feel like going to work, or you love playing games and now you just don't want to play anymore. Then that begins to affect your appetite, your sleep. So you either will tend to sleep less or sleep more, eat less or eat more, which will affect your weight. It affects your energy level, so you begin to get very tired, you begin to lose focus, concentration. So for students, they find it difficult to remember things when they're studying. You just can't remember, you can't focus on what you're reading. And slowly the signs of uselessness, worthlessness, helplessness, hopelessness, and then the thoughts of, like, what's the point of living? You begin to question life, and thoughts of dying come in, and then attempts on suicide could be a part of clinical depression. We do a risk assessment, and we see whether the risk is low, medium, high, severe, and according to the risk we advise. If it's medium severe, hospitalization is indicated. If the person is imminent, he's saying, I want to die, no, I need to die, I have a plan, I have a method, I know what I'm going to do, we have to admit the patient. The patient needs to be under 24-hour surveillance. If the person is under low, middle, yes, we can send the person home, but with supervision. So the families have to be warned, the families have to know that they cannot leave them alone, remove anything that could be dangerous in the house, and just protect the environment.
Somebody should be around the person. all
Should
the
be
time.
around the person, yes.
Is depression treatable, doctor?
Very much, very much. I mean, I think gone are the days when we looked at depression as a mad disease. It's very much a biological condition. We know the causes. We understand what happens in the brain. We understand the neurochemistry behind the disease, and so we also know how to fix that neurochemistry. So today we have medication, fantastic medicines, and I think if people come in for treatment earlier, we can prevent the disease from actually building up, or for it becoming a chronic kind of a disease. Fantastic drugs, fantastic medication. I think people should let go of that mindset that visiting a psychiatrist is a taboo, what people will think. I think no more. I think it's like any other disease, and we need to approach it in that way. A psychiatrist is a doctor of the mind, okay, and today there are lots of diseases of the mind. So if we can catch it faster and take treatment, I think people will have a much better quality of life. We need to be aware that if we have got problems, we need to tackle them earlier on. We need to take help. Even if you find the situation is beyond hope, it's just that you are thinking it's beyond hope. But if you go and talk to someone else, I think you sometimes another door might just open up.
I have faced a little difficult situation. When I went through and the tragedy happened about my wife, I had nobody to come and console me. It was a point where I could have also had attempted suicide because I loved my wife so much. But I didn't see a single guy who came to me to sit with me for 5 minutes, talk to me, pat me on my
What you
back.
experienced in your life was
Yeah,
that
nobody.
lack of support.
Nobody. What gave me energy to stand by on my own is the poet which is there in me, the writer which is there in me. I have noticed that the society is failing in these measures.
There's another thing is about suicide is that a lot of young people are committing suicide, and I would like to ask you, Mr. Sagar Dalvi, from an educationist point of view, what do you think about this?
But before that, let me really compliment Dr. Himali for the amount of courage and the strength.
I think we all
she
need to
showed.
give her a big round of applause. Appreciate the courage here.
See, people always say it's an act of cowardice to commit a suicide. But let me share with you, to commit a suicide, you require the maximum amount of courage. Any Tom, Dick or Harry cannot commit a suicide. Now, okay, I mean, there is some sort of weakness that, when all doors appear to be shut, then you only think of the only door to commit suicide. Since you brought to my notice that, since I am involved in the educational field, doctor might agree or may not agree with me, ultimately it's my personal view. We have something called as counselors, counseling. Counseling is required. There are no two ways about it. But then, counseling is required to the parents rather than the students. Aue and Bapu have virtually become materialistic parents, not emotional parents. And आज गरज असा इमोशनल पॅरंट होण्याची. That the person should feel the way she feels, Dr. Himali feels, that my mother is ultimate to me. So that feeling every person should have. That the best place for me is my house. I'll go and talk to my father. I'll go and talk to my siblings. I'll go and talk to my mother. हें आसपाक जाय. And another very important factor is the peer group. पयलीं हांवें सांगलें तशें की असो हांव रातचो न्हिदलां सकाळ फुडें चल आतां वचून जीव दिवया. तें हॉटेलान वचून च्या पिवपाची गजाल न्ही ती. There's a lot of things which go on before you come to that particular decision. आनी जे चेंजीस जाता न्ही ते चेंजीस त्या पियर ग्रुपाक आनी घरा कडेन आवयक आनी बापायक आनी भयणीक भावाक कळटा. This is, see, we are not here to find out the solution for this, but rather to come across a near correct solution.
One step closer to it.
One step closer to it. म्हणून it is not a, I mean, व्हडली अशी गजाल न्ही ती. हांणी जर दोळे उक्ते दवरले आवय बापायन भावा भयण्यांनी आनी फ्रेंड्स, म्हणून तुमी आज जो बरो विशय मांडला.
So it's not only the family, it's the friends, it's everyone, we all around. So having, as you rightly said, the parents should give that open environment for every child at home. But I would like to differ with you on the thing that, counseling, about the counseling is, I understand sometimes, as we can take Dr. Himali's case, she refrained from telling her mother for so many years just with the fear that, her mother would feel bad. So a counselor in this situation is one of the best people to talk to, where she could talk about it. I know it would be fantastic if she would go and talk to her mother, but in case a child is not able to talk to.
Mr. Sagar Dalvi is mentioning is a very ideal situation. It's a very ideal world that all parents, parents should come to a level where they will understand their children, and that's what we always hope for. That's what we always hope for. But reality today is parents are so busy.
Today, it is very easy because we have something called as PTA, Parent Teachers Association. Parents, since they are so much they care for their children, they definitely would come to the counseling. You invite a counselor, a technical person.
It's just that they need to be aware that these are issues, these are problems, and yes, they do take help.
So it is very easy. नाशिल्लें मान्य म्हाका, पूण आतां कितें आसा, आतां ह्या सगळ्या प्रॉब्लेमा कडेन देर इज अ लॉट ऑफ अवेरनेस. प्रत्येक ह्या प्रॉब्लेमा कडेन पळोवपाचो दृश्टिकोन बदल जाल्लो आसा. पयलीं कितें आशिल्लें, मातशें कोणाक जर सायकोलॉजिकल प्रॉब्लेम आसा, आवटो तो आनी ताका कोणशाक बसयताले, रुमान बंद करून घालताले. आतां तशें कोण करिना. आतां अवेरनेस चेंज जाला, पळोवपाचो आउटलूक चेंज जाला, दृश्टिकोन चेंज जाला. So as Dr. rightly said, the people come forward with their problems. पयलीं म्हज्या भुरग्याचो हो प्रॉब्लेम आसा म्हणून पेरंट्स हे नाशिल्ले, आतां येवपाक लागले because they have realized.
I think there is a lot to be discussed more on this topic, and come back in our next program, in our next episode with the same topic.